from a digital point of view, you've got to build up your database. And that is not just, let's get a whole load of emails and we'll just whack it out. It's really getting the data and having what I would call insights. So what are those people actually doing? And then how do you segment that data based on their needs and then target messages at the right time, at the right place, how they want it with the right message related to the data you've collected on them. So we started collecting an email database, I would say 16, 17 years ago. And that is extremely important. I think the other one is to have a very simple brand message. So for us, our brand message at the Irish Football Association was football for all. 3 little words, but what powerful words, because that was a positional statement to say, no matter where you're from, football is for all. And to get that message out, so if you're, for example, you're on an email, football for all. If you on the website, football for all. If you were speaking at an event, football for all. So it's that consistency is what I'm talking about, let alone a brand statement that is unique to you. And then I think that other bit would be, how do you use the media, in my case, sports tech media, to really continue to communicate with them, to maybe write articles, to really get your message, your content out there, but it's done again on a consistent, regular basis. I think a number of sports organisations think that when they do a new logo, that's branding done. Here's my new logo, we're done. And what they miss out is the logo is obviously an element in branding, but it's only one of a major number of areas. I think how people build their brand is probably needs to be greatly improved. I can see that in a number of areas, how they treat their brand. Not the logo, but their brand. And to me, I go back to Disney. Disney tell a story, they tell it well and they tell it often. And how you get treated by Disney when you're not there as a customer, you're there as a guest. So how they do that, I think sport and other organisations need to look to people like them. People say to me, Geoff, but Disney's got millions. Yes, but it's the principles that I'm looking to ask people to think about, how Disney do all of these different bits and pieces, how they develop and grow their brand, and how the customer service is exceptional, and how the overall entertainment creates something of value in your mind. So to me, I think sports organisations don't do enough in this whole area of creating their brand and telling their brand story, especially linked to great history. I think that the second for me area is in the area of engaging their fans. I think if we're talking at a stadium or at an event, I think many sports organisations is we engage our fans and our spectators when they come to see us. And to me, I don't think that is one bit, but not the bit. So I created a very basic sports model that talks about, if you're at the match on game day, you've got to engage, which is the traditional. But what about if it's game day and you're not at the match? How are you engaging people? What about if it's non-game day, but you're at the venue? And what about if it's non-game day and you're not at the venue or the stadium? So each of these four building blocks, you've got to engage fans. In other words, it's got to be consistent throughout the year, not just when you've got a game every fortnight, 6 months or whatever. The other side of it is those major events, you're probably going to have to do some without fans, and that then obviously then has an impact on the likes of ticketing. I think from my point of view, there always is a way to do something, and what the pandemic is doing in the sports side is saying we've got to think innovative, we've got to think creative, and I would call it the Massey Ferguson effect in Northern Ireland. And this is where I think Northern Ireland businesses have got to let's get back to Massey Ferguson. Let's be innovative and creative. I'm not saying that we're not, but sometimes if everything's going great, you stay where it's at. And sometimes you need something like this as a jolt to say, let's get back and being innovative and creative. And I think sport will need to do that more and more over the next year.